Have you ever wondered how those old paintings are still so well preserved? Where did artists find the materials for their paintings? Today we're going to travel back in time and discover how the first artists made their own paints and canvases. What were the secrets behind the durability of these masterpieces? Stay tuned and get ready for a real lesson in art history and chemistry. Let's start with the paints. Before there were art supply stores, artists made their own paints from natural pigments. But what exactly are natural pigments? Well, they are colored substances extracted from elements found in nature, such as minerals, plants, and even insects. For example, the ultramarine blue pigment, one of the most expensive and revered in painting, was obtained from lapis lazuli, a semi-precious stone extracted from mines in Afghanistan. Carmine red came from cochineal, an insect that lives in cacti in Central and South America. Ancient artists used these powdered pigments and mixed them with a binder to create paint. The type of binder varied depending on the technique and the desired effect. For tempera paintings, common during the Renaissance, they used egg yolk, which dries quickly and creates a shiny, durable surface. For oil paintings, a method that gained popularity in the 15th century, the favorite binder was linseed oil. This oil not only helped to suspend the pigments, but also allowed for thin, transparent layers, creating depth and realism in the paintings. These pigments were ground into powder and then carefully mixed with the chosen binder. The mixing process was critical. Too much binder could make the paint translucent and weak, while too little could leave it dry and difficult to apply. In addition, the artists had to be true alchemists, adjusting their mixtures to get the perfect consistency and color for their works. Each master painter had their own secret formulas, passed down from generation to generation. This artisanal and personalized practice not only shows the technical skill of the artists, but also reveals a deep knowledge of chemistry and materials. Through these traditional methods, they were able to create paints with a richness and durability that still impresses today. What about the canvases? Artists of the past didn't buy their canvases ready-made. They prepared their painting surfaces themselves. The first step was to choose the right material. Canvases were generally made of linen or cotton, materials that provided durability and a suitable texture for applying paint. To prepare the canvas, the artist stretched the fabric on a wooden frame. This involved fixing the fabric firmly with nails or staples, ensuring that there were no wrinkles or folds. The tension of the canvas was crucial, as an uneven surface could compromise the even application of the paint and the durability of the painting. Once stretched, the canvas had to be prepared to receive the paint. This was done by applying several layers of gesso, a mixture of chalk and animal glue, which acted as a primer. The gesso was applied in thin layers, with each layer being sanded smooth to create a smooth, even surface. This process, known as imprimatura, had several functions, sealing the pores of the fabric, providing a shiny white base that reflected light through the layers of paint, and ensuring that the paint adhered well to the surface, preventing cracking and peeling over time. In addition to canvases, artists also used wooden boards, especially during the Middle Ages and the early Renaissance. The wooden boards, usually oak or poplar, were carefully selected and prepared. The process included gluing several boards together to prevent warping and applying a layer of plaster similar to that used on canvases. The wood provided a solid and durable base, ideal for detailed and long-lasting paintings. A notable example is Leonardo da Vinci's painting, The Virgin of the Rocks, which was done on a wooden board. This method allowed for precise paint application and the creation of minute details that have stood the test of time. These meticulous techniques for preparing canvases and boards demonstrate the artist's dedication to their art and the importance of each stage of the creative process. The durability of the masterpieces we admire today is a testament to the skill and technical knowledge of the artists of the past, who ensured that their creations survived for centuries. So how did these works last so long? Part of the secret lies in the high-quality materials they used, but also in the preservation techniques. The artists and their patrons were aware of the need to protect their works so that they could be appreciated by future generations. First, many artists applied a final layer of varnish to their paintings. The varnish, made from natural resins dissolved in solvents, served as a protective barrier against dust, humidity, and ultraviolet light. This not only helped preserve the vividness of the colors, but also protected the surface of the painting from minor mechanical damage and oxidation. In addition, the choice of pigments also played a crucial role in the longevity of the paintings. Natural pigments, such as ultramarine blue made from lapis lazuli and carmine red extracted from cochineal, tended to be more stable and resistant to discoloration over time. These pigments, combined with durable binders such as linseed oil, created paintings that stood the test of time. Artists also paid attention to the painting's support. For example, for paintings on wood, it was common to apply an antifungal and anti-insect treatment to protect the wood from pests that could compromise the integrity of the work. Similarly, canvases were often treated with plaster, which not only prepared the surface for painting, but also helped protect the underlying fabric from environmental damage. The environments in which paintings were kept also influenced their preservation. For centuries, many masterpieces were stored in churches, castles, and palaces where the environmental conditions were relatively stable. Places with controlled temperature and humidity helped minimize the expansion and contraction of materials, preventing cracking and flaking. In modern times, the preservation of ancient paintings has become a science in itself. Restorers use advanced techniques such as X-ray analysis, ultraviolet fluorescence, and spectroscopy to study the composition of works and identify the best conservation methods. These technologies make it possible to restore damaged paintings accurately while maintaining the work's historical integrity. A remarkable example of modern preservation is the restoration of the Sistine Chapel, where restorers removed centuries of soot and dirt to reveal the original vibrant colors of Michelangelo's paintings. This painstaking process not only returned the work to its original state, but also broadened our understanding of the techniques and materials used by the Renaissance master. These preservation techniques, both ancient and modern, are essential to ensure that we can continue to admire and learn from these magnificent works of art for many centuries to come. The combination of artistic skill, technical knowledge, and scientific advances form the basis of the durability and timeless beauty of history's great paintings. Now let's take a look at some famous examples that perfectly illustrate how these preparation and preservation techniques have resulted in works of art that have stood the test of time. We start with Leonardo da Vinci's Mona Lisa, perhaps the most famous painting in the world. Painted between 1503 and 1506, the Mona Lisa was created on a panel of poplar wood using oil paints. The application of thin, translucent layers of paint, a technique called sfumato, created the illusion of depth and softness. In addition, Leonardo applied a layer of varnish that helped protect the painting from dust and moisture, contributing to its incredible preservation. Today, the Mona Lisa is kept in the Louvre Museum in Paris, where strict temperature and humidity control conditions ensure its continued protection. Another example is The Last Supper, also by Leonardo da Vinci. This monumental work, painted between 1495 and 1498 in the refectory of the convent of Santa Maria del Grazie in Milan, used an experimental mixed technique of tempera and oil on dry plaster. Although this choice has caused deterioration problems over the centuries, restoration efforts have been meticulous. The most recent restoration, completed in 1999, involved more than 20 years of work, using advanced techniques to stabilize and recover the painting. The Girls by Diego Velázquez is another iconic example. Painted in 1656, this Spanish Baroque masterpiece uses the oil on canvas technique. Velázquez was a master of capturing light and texture, and his techniques for applying paint, together with the careful preparation of the canvas, ensured the durability of this complex work. Today, The Girls is one of the jewels of the Prado Museum in Madrid, and we can't forget Raphael's The School of Athens, painted between 1509 and 1511. This work, which adorns one of the rooms in the Vatican, was executed in fresco, a technique that involves applying pigments to wet plaster. This technique makes the painting become an integral part of the wall, contributing to its impressive durability. These examples show that regardless of the specific techniques and materials used, the combination of artistic skill and technical knowledge of preparation and preservation has allowed these masterpieces to survive through the centuries. Unlike today, where everything is produced for quick and immediate consumption and is soon replaced by another new creation, these works took time to produce and were made to last for centuries. In modern times, the preservation of ancient paintings has evolved into a sophisticated science, and the intersection between art and science has never been more crucial. Art conservators use a variety of advanced technologies to study and preserve these precious works. One of the most revolutionary techniques is the use of X-ray analysis. This method allows conservators to see through the layers of paint to understand the painting's internal structure. Findings made with X-rays can reveal preliminary sketches, alterations made by the artist, and even paintings hidden beneath the surface. For example, X-ray analysis of the Mona Lisa revealed details about Leonardo's techniques and changes he made during the painting process. Ultraviolet fluorescence is another valuable tool. By illuminating a painting with UV light, conservators can identify repaints and areas where the original varnish has been applied or removed. This technique helps to understand the conservation history of the work and to plan future interventions in a more informed way. Infrared spectroscopy makes it possible to analyze the chemical composition of pigments without damaging the paintwork. This is especially useful for identifying materials that may be sensitive to certain cleaning methods or exposure to light. In addition to these techniques, art restoration also benefits from advanced microscopy and digital image analysis. These technologies make it possible to examine the painting's surface in very high resolution, identifying tiny cracks and debris that might not be visible to the naked eye. In addition to diagnostic technologies, modern science has developed new materials for art conservation. Synthetic varnishes that mimic the properties of old natural varnishes, but with greater stability and resistance to aging, are now widely used. Thanks to these innovations, we are better equipped than ever to preserve and protect works of art for future generations. Science not only helps to conserve, but also to rediscover and appreciate even more deeply the creations of the great masters of the past. Before we conclude our journey through the ancient techniques of preparing and preserving paintings, let's explore some fascinating curiosities that add an extra layer of magic to these works of art. Firstly, did you know that many of the Renaissance masters used pigments made from precious and exotic materials? For example, ultramarine, a vibrant blue pigment used in many famous paintings, was made from lapis lazuli, a semi-precious stone that was more valuable than gold. This pigment was so expensive that it was often reserved only for the most important parts of the painting, such as the Virgin Mary's cloak. Another interesting curiosity is about the hidden signatures and secret messages that some artists hid in their works. Leonardo da Vinci was known for incorporating coded messages and small details that could only be seen under certain lighting conditions. In his work, The Last Supper, for example, there are theories that he included musical notes disguised in the arrangements of bread and the hands of the apostles. Speaking of The Last Supper, there's an intriguing fact about the experimental technique Leonardo used. He decided to paint on a dry wall instead of using the traditional fresco method, which allowed for more detail but also led to early deterioration. This technical choice was a calculated risk that reminds us how artistic innovation can have unexpected consequences. What about Vincent van Gogh's famous painting, The Starry Night? He painted this masterpiece while in an asylum in Saint-Rémy-de-Provence. Van Gogh had a unique and daring vision of the world around him, capturing the essence of nocturnal landscapes with vigorous brush movements and intense colors. The Starry Night is not only a representation of his artistic genius, but also a testimony to his personal struggle with mental health. And we can't forget Jan van Eyck's famous Arnolfini portrait, which is renowned for its meticulous detail. Using a highly detailed oil painting technique, Van Eyck managed to capture precise reflections and rich textures. If you look closely in the convex mirror in the center of the painting, you'll see a reflection of the scene that includes two additional figures, possibly Van Eyck himself and another observer. These surprising details add a layer of realism and mystery to the work. In addition to these curiosities, the preservation of works of art itself is full of fascinating stories. During the Second World War, for example, many masterpieces were hidden in secret locations to protect them from destruction and looting. The Mona Lisa was moved several times and kept safe in different locations to ensure its survival during turbulent times. Over the centuries, art has been a powerful reflection of the human condition, capturing both the beauty and complexity of our experiences. The preparation and preservation techniques developed by the ancient masters, enhanced with modern science, ensure that these precious works can continue to inspire and delight future generations. We end our trip with a reflection on the importance of preserving our artistic heritage. Each painting is a portal to history, a window into the past that allows us to understand and appreciate the cultures and civilizations that came before us. Through the continued efforts of conservators and scientists, these masterpieces will remain as lasting testimonies to human ingenuity and creativity. Thank you for joining us on this journey through the fascinating world of preparing and preserving paintings. If you enjoyed this video, Don't forget to like it, comment, and subscribe for more great content about the world of art. See you!